Oh, goodness. I'm on the edge with you. Ah, ah, ah. I'm on the edge with you. Ah, what a wonderful, wonderful day. I don't know about you, but oh my gosh, I am already having an amazing day. I will tell you though, I woke up late today. I'm not sure if I'm live yet, but I woke up late today um and so everything was truncated. I sat down and I did my meditation. I did a 12-minute meditation, and then I jumped from there and did my journaling. And I did about a half a page, and then when I got ready to work on my book a little bit, I was thinking to myself, I haven't even had my coffee. And I was trying to figure out, okay, let me see. I got to get in the shower, but I got to get my coffee. And so I put the coffee on, got in the shower. By the time I got out, it was ready. And so I'm sitting there in I started reading an article that I need to share. It's by Bio Akinfunde. Oh, I always mess up his name. I meant to put it up on his board, on my board, because it's easy if I could see it. But there are people who I hope, like I always say, I hope I inspire you. But there are people who inspire and lift me and let me know that the stuff that I feel, I'm not alone in sensing this. And so sometimes what I do is, like today, when I was in the mirror and I was doing my face, I felt like I want to put on a long dress. What I'm thinking, what is that, right? And so this is one that I wear around the house. It was never like it meant to be a evening gown, but rather just a long dress. I'm not one to wear long dresses too often. Um, I love my legs, and I think everybody else should have the pleasure of seeing them too. So I don't wear long dresses very much. But today I felt like this enchantress. It's a funny kind of feeling, to kind of come to a place of feeling a vibrational energy that that you're kind of saying yes to a wavelength. And so as I read, I didn't even read the whole article yet. Hey, good morning, Erica, darling. How are you, sweetie? I didn't even read the whole article yet, but as I started reading, I felt this something coming alive in me saying yes, 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 right? And so that's why I want to share the piece that inspired me the most so far. I haven't even like I said, I haven't even read the whole thing, but I want to share the piece that inspired me so far. And then there's another part of me that so if you can imagine that I am, spirit has me on a journey. Oh, this is so good. Spirit has me on a journey. And today in my Course in Miracles lesson, every day, there's 365 lessons. And because there was days that I missed last year, I'm still behind. I'm still not, caught up to where I'm supposed to be, right? So whatever. I don't care if you judge me, whatever. And so keeping consistent with it. And so my lesson today was like something like, I will follow where, you know, Course in Miracles, just like any other book, is sexist. It says where he leads, but I always change it to she. And so I will follow wherever spirit leads me. And so today it led me on this magical, like, a magical mystery ride. Come along with me on a fantastic voyage. And so when it asked me the question, do you want to go? I'm like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. So for me, it's this. Here's what I ask myself: who gets to establish the colors of your rainbow? Right? If you ever think about the plethora of colors and activities and things that is presented to you, who gets to establish your crayon box? Who does that? You know, people will tell you these are the acceptable colors, or these are the, and I mean, I'm not just talking, color is a metaphor for life for me, right? And so if we're talking about coming into a house and somebody telling you, oh, what's acceptable is white walls. Well, who gave you the right to determine for me the colors of my rainbow? What brings me joy or makes me happy? When people tell me about how it's always done or what people do, it's like, I get that feeling. Y'all, I am so thrilled to be alive at this time and to be able to have this conversation with you, to feel a certain amount of permission, not permission, because I don't need permission. I was ordained to do this shit. I was ordained to do this. And so there is a certain amount of excitement and thrill that, as we push back the parameters of what was and step into a new possibility. Let us write a new paradigm. You guys, there have been people, because we have felt shut out of a system. We're busy trying to figure out what do we need to do in order to fit into that system, and it's killing us. It's killing us. And if you, oh goodness gracious, a friend of mine's, Val, she had gone overseas at one time to study, I forget what the actual name of it is, but it was really color therapy. And this idea that colors feed our soul, like colors of food, colors around us, colors in our home, that they resonate to a certain frequency that wake things up in you. And if you could think about that, the world has done without certain frequencies that it needs, like that it needs for its own survival. And you may have the key. You may have that certain something that causes it to wake up in people. Like, oh my goodness, just to think about the possibility of that, right? Just to start to stir up something within yourself that says, you know what, I am a healer. And I heal through, some people heal through, practical, what people think of as Western medicine. Some people are sound healers, vibrational healers. Other people, color healers. Other people, whatever it is, doing your magical brew, right? Whatever that is. If mine's is to enchant people with, to wake up something in you through this kind of medium, who am I to not do it? Because it comes natural to me and through me. And so whatever your particular thing is that you bring into the world, who are you to not do that? As a matter of fact, something ought to really die in us every time we say no to our natural gifting. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you too. Confession. I am so sick of my feeds seeming like they're off. I mean, the sound comes through so rich, but it's not. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. For those of you who are still seeing me, my feed went down in this other spot, and I don't know what happened. And so I am uh whew, I don't know what happened. It's saying here that it received a signal to stop my stream. Not sure why. What was that about? Uh, mm, is that Big Brother? I don't know. Somebody ended my stream and it wasn't me. But it now it's saying that I'm live again. I put on my glasses, the stream went down. I'm not exactly sure why that happened. I was just talking about and saying that this idea of my video not being in sync and it just went down. I don't know what that was about. Ugh, but you know what? Ain't nobody gonna steal my joy today. So it was still live on YouTube, even though it doesn't show that I had anybody watching, but it was still live, and so I'm not exactly sure um, uh, why it is that I am having the issues that I'm having. So, uh, okay, so not sure. That is not what, um, I don't know what it is, you guys. I don't know what it is. I'm just trying to figure it out over here. And I don't have any answers for you at the moment. I don't have any answers. OMG! It is, ooh, 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 ooh. Today is Thursday for those of you who don't know. Today is Thursday, and I get to be on with Dr. Brown today on Thursday. And I'm excited for that. We'll see. I'm coming on differently with him because I need to record the show that will be with him, but we'll see what that does. Ugh, I don't know what the heck, what the what, right? What happened? Oh boy. Okay, so I said something about this the stream and the software that I'm using, and that I have been trying to figure out from my end what it is that is going on, and I am not quite sure. I really am not quite sure as to where the lag is coming in from. But I do know that it's really interesting to me. I wonder what this little thing is. Um, hmm. Not sure. I am not sure. So, I'll keep moving on. That's all I can do at the moment is keep moving on and get this down and go from there. Yeah, I'm on the edge with you. I'm on the edge. Yes, 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 yes. I am on the edge with you. All right. So, now having said that, let me um do a couple of things. I'm going to access this on my phone, and as well as and y'all, I do apologize because first off, I know that this whole thing is just distracting. It can be distracting. It's distracting for me when I look at it after the fact that my voice sounds rich and clear from my end, from my perspective, but my mouth is not in alignment with what it is that my words are saying. So it has that Chinese movie effect, the thing where you've got one thing going and something else is happening. I think that it's better when you watch on YouTube, but I can't be certain. So you've got that option. And on YouTube, I updated my link that is in my the bio section on Facebook because they changed my YouTube channel name from Sandra Said It to Sandra Bishop, just Sandra Bishop with no anything in between that. So you can always follow me there if you so choose. And yeah, subscribe, follow, whatever you call it. So I'm going to do the two things. I'm going to do the reading for you, and then from there, I am going to I want to share with you from Bio's article because I just think it is so good. All right, so here we go. Juicy, juicy, juiciness. I love, love, love the idea of juicy, juicy, juiciness. All right, so let me get myself all situated here. Ooh, I'm on the edge with you. I'm on the edge with you. So, from Tom Johnson, you are always your own experience. She takes this quote. These are, remember, by Reverend Marilyn Louise Leo. And, y'all, I gotta, maybe this was purposeful. Maybe it's all purposeful. I'll sit with that as well. Okay, so here's the quote she used. In my self-awareness, I realized there is only that which Jesus calls the Father, this total self, this infinite beingness, and it is as me. When I am self-aware, it guides me and directs my way through every moment as the experience of itself. Okay, okay, okay. And then let's go on to read the quote that she takes from Ernest Holmes. Oh, what the heck? What the what? What the what? Y'all, I feel so blessed, so blessed, so blessed, so blessed. Even when things happen that are unplanned, unaware, I feel so blessed, so blessed, so blessed. All right, so I am back. All right, so let's see. Then from Ernest Holmes, all life is one life. Just as every physical substance known derives from one universal energy, so there is one life principle, which is God, in which we all live, and from which infinite source our individual lives are drawn. That's from Ernest Holmes. So here is the writing that she did for today. It is not God and me, but God as me. Dualism is not a part of being. There is one life, and within that one life is all life. Only in humans are we conscious of this oneness. Only in humans are we conscious of this oneness. How does she know that, right? Only in humans may we contemplate and even argue about it. How does she know that? We say animals act from instinct. That instinct is God's life in action and direction. Animals' actions are from love. Even as they may appear to be aggressive or fearful, they are love. The same as humans. They are able to express that love through announcing and protecting. How does she know that, right? All trees and plants have purpose to express the beauty of life and perhaps help fulfill our needs in producing food and habitat, for shade and cleansing the air, all for service. How does she know that? This one life is shared throughout the universe and beyond. It gives us health, balance, equilibrium. It expresses as abundance, creativity, and service. It is love. All life is in one life. Let's be grateful for the entire multitude of life expressing in its many forms, sizes, and magnificent array of colors. The affirmation, I am filled with love, for that is my true identity. It always amazes me. There is, for me, what I know, and I have found for myself to be true, but I try not to make statements about the totality of what somebody else's experience is, because all of our experiences are so very different. So when somebody tries to tell you about the totality of your beingness, of what you are to do, please reserve the right to define that for yourself, right? Because yes, while I may believe that certain things to be true, one of the things I also know is that I'm not going to exist in the parameters of somebody else's thought about me. That is not what we do. It is, how do I fashion for myself my own truth? Whatever somebody else says, whatever somebody else believes, it does not then become the author and the defining stuff of my life. And I hope that it is not of yours. If you feel yourself to be an enchantress, enchant. If you feel yourself to be an artist, create the art. If you feel yourself to be a healer, do that. But don't let somebody tell you about the possibilities and the truth for yourself. Push beyond that. Yes. sometimes things, sometimes things, y'all see me, I get, whoo, I love trying, one of the things um, this idea of being a protector. Can you think for a moment what that might mean? Who might you be protecting? Is it yourself or is it another? Is it somebody who has just really started to breathe in the possibilities for their own life, and then somebody comes along and says, well, you're not that. Oh my goodness. Allow yourself to define for yourself who you are and what matters to you. Allow yourself that is so, I think it's so beautiful when we allow ourselves that. So you guys, I want to share with you from this article because it just, to me, it set my day off in such an amazing direction. And bio is bio inspires me, right? He is I don't even want to call him a philosopher, but he is, or a poet, but he is. He's also a he's also done an amazing job at talking about ecology and our ecosystem. And he teaches. He just sent out this letter the other day talking about that he is relocating again. He was teaching at a university in, I do believe, Switzerland, and now he is moving to Germany. And he is a sought after speaker because what he does is he shakes up our thinking and our thoughts about the world. And so a lot of times he he breathes life into ideas that I've been grappling with anyway. And so he talked about this idea of the cracks and how like among us that and because he's African, he has a different perspective on ancient religions and how things have been done. And it is reminding us of the soil, of the ground of our being, which I find just intoxicating. It's intoxicating. And so when I share information from him, it's because it inspires me. And my hope is that it inspires you, even if even if it is one of those things that we don't always understand in the midst of it, to let it sit in us and to see what it is that it has to give and what indications it has on our life. At one point, I responded to he puts out these short little articles or short little things that he finds poignant at the time. And my response to him was that I see evidence of this all around me because, say, for instance, I compost. And for those of you who don't know what composting is or have never composted, composting is taking the organic stuff that you use in your home, like say for instance, if you're cooking, when you're cooking, there's a lot of stuff that we don't use. Like if we peel a carrot, we get rid of the peels, or if we eat an apple, we get rid of the core, or if we, whatever it is that comes from a fruit or vegetable that we get rid of. And some places they even put in food products. I don't put it because I'm not a meat eater, so I don't put in flesh, but I do put in everything that is, whether it's a banana peel or it's a, peels off of anything that, old celery that's gone bad or carrots or whatever. I put all of the vegetable products, all of the fruit products into what is called a compost bin. And I also put my grass in there. I try to get wood clippings and all of this stuff. And all of this stuff together, you pile it into the compost bin and you cover it over. Now, there's a few things that happen. Like if you have a good working compost bin, there is, as you may know, if you cut grass, there is this process that when you pile something together, it creates gases and heat as it breaks down. And those gases and heat will transform what was formerly products that you recognize, whether it's the eggshells or whether it's something. It will break those down. The process of it heating up, it breaks it down. And then what you find as you begin to turn that over is you find a rich dirt, something that has been transformed from what it was into something else. Now, this process has been amazing to me because I have not always been good at creating the compost bin. So sometimes my compost is sitting there without necessarily heating up to the point that it needs to. When a good compost bin is going, it's like a volcano, and it's giving off that stuff and it's breaking it down through that. Now, mines have not always been like heated up compost bins. But what I do know is when I go out there and I stick a fork in there, usually it is hotter on the inside. Usually I do see some steam coming up. But as I turn it over, what I see is I see a whole array of worms and insects and those little red things that, that crawl and all of these other things. And what these things do, what worms and insects do inside of a compost bin is they consume the material that I put in there. And as it passes through their bodies, it transforms itself into dirt. So it's the excrement of all of these things that makes that rich soil that people sell for ridiculous amounts of money, because now all of these bugs have done their job and they give you back something that is beautiful and usable. They give you back living soil. Oh, the process is so amazing and so beautiful. It puts you in awe of how everything on this planet works together. So to sit there and say that an animal doesn't have the ability to debate this and that, I don't know what they do. As a matter of fact, I would think that there is nothing to debate when you already are doing what it is that's natural to you. There are so many of us out here that don't know what is natural to us, and we're so busy trying to be something else that we haven't even learned how to yet be ourselves. It appears to me that a worm doesn't have to look at a television and decide, oh, I want to, I need to have long hair, or I need to have this or that to be okay. No, it's just doing what it does. As a matter of fact, I think that in my estimation of it, as I'm throwing new stuff on there, I don't think that that worm looks over his shoulder and says, "What the heck is she bringing out here now?" No, it doesn't have that level of resentment. It just does what it does because that is its life. We have so lost touch with what our life is because we're busy trying to be like, act like, do something other than what is our truth, what is our true calling. And so so this, I have a tendency to just be able to appreciate the isness of what is. Oh my gosh, I love that. So all of this stuff working together is a part of an amazing ecosystem that I love to bear witness to. And in bearing witness to it, I can see, if I can see it on the level of a compost bin, how can I not miss it when it comes down to something much bigger, right? How can I deny that that might be what is happening everywhere? That when you turn back or peel back the covers, the process of life is ongoing. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And maybe just as you are, you don't need to go and add to something that is already perfect when you're doing what it is that you are called to or led to do. So many folks go around trying to change up, trying to do something different, like it's not enough. You got this feeling of not enoughness. Oh my gosh, be the color that you are supposed to be. If that means a magenta, magenta your butt off. If you missed that from the first section when I was talking about the colors, y'all, that might not make sense to you. But hey, good morning, beautiful. Hi, Tracy. How are you? So just figuring out what it is that you do. Now, I want to talk about this part of Bio's piece here. I've read for you the other thing, and so now I want to read for you this piece because it truly has touched me today. So here's what he wrote in his article, and like I said, I'm just reading a couple of paragraphs out of a larger piece, and so just listen. He's got something that led up to this. He talks about a slave ship that landed in the Carolinas, and there were people that they had captured and were going to enslave. And rather than these people submitting to their enslavement, these Africans submitting to their enslavement, instead of walking forward onto the land, they turned and they walked back into the water. They walked back into the water. Now, the narrative that was presented was, people asking the questions, how could they do that? Right? How could they do that? And so so now he is, in part of this article, he is speaking to this. He says something about Black exile, about Black refusal, gestures at a generosity stranger than truth can accommodate. It gestures at how things spill away from neat lines and steady identities. It gestures at the drunken, creolized promiscuity of reality itself. Black exile distrusts straight lines and loves zigzagging, cartographies, meandering stories that do not care much for some Cartesian notion of a fixed truth. Black exile loves death and ghost, moonlit dalliances, subterranean experiments, hybrid bodies, bacchanal aesthetics, perverse mixtures and spillages, monsters with phallic horns sprouting from their heads, grandmother concoctions, and stories of a promiscuous world that won't stay still long enough for us to paint its portrait. For Black exile, facts vibrate at a speed of mystery. Buongiorno, Sarika. I have been missing you, darling. I talked about you a couple of weeks ago, calling forth your spirit. How are you? How are you? Buongiorno to you as well. And he says after that, he says, I know how this sounds. Let me back up for a second though, because I like when we all move in through a story together. So say for instance, he talks about this thing of Black exile. So the people who thought that they had bought bodies, bought what they termed slaves, which says that you don't see people as people having autonomy, having a spirit of their own, having a trajectory for your own life, but rather you bought what you thought was bodies that you can control and fashion in your own estimation or in your own image to do what it is that you desired for them to do. The hell with whatever they thought might have been their way of life. So this idea of Black exile or Black refusal to fit into the what's a word? To fit into the mold that you are pouring somebody into. He says, gestures at a generosity stranger than truth can accommodate. Ooh, I love that. It gestures at how things spill away from the neat lines. The neat lines, right? Only not even a computer, because one of the things that we know is a lot of the shows that we see, a lot of the things, the futurism things that they put on TV, they talk about how even a computer at some point, they call it AI, this artificial intelligence may supersede its creators. And so remember in the Matrix, it was them fighting up against a machine that we basically created and then turns and enslaves us. And so it was saying that in the show is that, people were being fed, used as batteries to power the machine. And so this idea that somehow, the thing turns upon its creator has been a theme that we've seen in many of these futuristic things. Even Terminator. Remember, prior to the Matrix was the Terminator. And so this idea that something outside of somebody else, outside of us, begins to use us. This thing of reality turning on itself. So he says it gestures at a generosity stranger than truth can accommodate. It gestures at how things spill away from the neat lines and steady identities. It gestures at drunken, which is what it means, creolized. You know what Creole, and Creole is a mixture of things. We are bringing together, whether you're looking at it like what happens down in Louisiana, that creolized thing where you've got French and black and white and all of these, you know, different ethnicities bringing it together, and there being a flavor that is created out of mixing what were before disparate parts, different in their composition. We bring those together into something that is a gumbo, a rich, soup that is contained with all of this in there. He says this creolized promiscuity of reality itself. Oh, that's so good. I love that whole concept and that idea, because it's not this idea of fighting against, but in the midst of. One of the things that I found so amazingly juicy was when I went to Martinique. I went to Martinique, and Martinique is a French speaking, it's an island in the Caribbean, but owned or colonized by France. We don't like to talk about colonization in the same way that that it was, but it's still a when you talk to somebody from Martinique, they will say that they are French. There is a certain pride in being French. And it's really interesting because when you look at the culture there, even though I did not speak the language, I do have an amazing power to observe things. And so what I saw there were all of these beautiful people. Now, there were plenty of what appeared to be folks that started out white. One of the things that from what I could glean from the conversation is that if you are a French person, a white French person from France, if you went to live on this island, the government would subsidize your living on this island to participate in that culture. And so what you get is this creolized society that comes together, and the folks are not looking at the black folks or the white folks as if they are outsiders, but all French people. And so what you have is a whole bunch of people that are walking around, and there is such a raw sexuality and ethnicity to the place. So when he says this creolized promiscuity, I get that on a whole different level from being able to witness that in that particular culture. Y'all, and when I talk about travel being one of the best teachers, it is so beautiful, because sometimes what we do is we believe that the bullshit we live with right here is the truth everywhere, and it is not. And so we get outside of this experience so that we can see a different type of experience. We can see something different going on. You can see places where your body, your skin, your everything about you is celebrated and embraced, as opposed to as looking at if it is the other, or that it is not what it's not the premium desire. You get to experience that when you go other places, that big booty is celebrated, those juicy lips are celebrated, the way that that your back curves is celebrated, the way in which your feet land on the ground and the dust or the soil responds to it is celebrated. But you never know that if all you do is stay in the little silos that we've created. Oh my goodness. And so there's this longing to feel that the beauty of that. So it says, he goes on to say, black, and I know I already read this part, but it's just so beautiful to me when because as I read it, I go through this and I'm breaking it down. But to breathe life into what he is saying is just beautiful for me. So he says, black exile distrust straight lines and love zigzags, cartographies. You know, that's the lay of the land, meandering stories that do not care much for some Cartesian notion of a fixed truth. Okay, so black exile loves death and ghost, moonlit dalliances, subterranean experiments, hybrid bodies, bacchanal aesthetics, bacchanal like drunkenness. No, so the god of wine was Bacchus, right? And so this idea of a drunken experience, not in the sense of it being a negative, like, oh, you're a drunken alcoholic. No, it's a takeoff on that. It's a yes, you've been possessed or enraptured by one of the gods of pleasure, of wine. So the bacchanal aesthetics, perverse mixtures and spillages. It says monsters with phallic horns. What is a phallic horn? You know, penises. And y'all, I don't know that you know it or not, but most of the monsters that we see on TV, if you look at them, for some odd reason, people create monsters. They make the faces to look like pussies. Coochies, what? Vagina, not vaginas, because that would be the wrong term. That vulva, right? They make the monster to look as if its face is that of a woman's vulva. It's a psychological game that they play on you. And a lot of times when you're looking at it, it looks familiar, but you can't quite put your finger on why it has that, why it looks that way. There is a psychological thing that they are doing to you. So these monsters with phallic horns sprouting out of their head, it goes hand in hand with this idea that the feminine is out to devour the masculine, and one can't exist without the other. I know that that's not what he's saying here, but I just wanted to create that image for you so that you're looking at and you see, because a lot of times these things are they're suggested, and so they play in what we call the subconscious realm of the mind, where on a conscious level you may not understand what is being done. So, and then he goes on to say, grandmother's concoctions and stories of a promiscuous world that won't stay still long enough for us to paint its portrait, because it's ever changing, it's ever moving and evolving and growing, and there's something beautiful about that. So black exile facts vibrate at a speed of mystery. And he says, I know how this sounds. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That means, like, I know how this sounds. I know how it sounds, right? I love that. And then he says, and because he put that all in a paragraph, like a line unto itself. I know how this sounds. Somebody might be thinking like, oh, this dude done lost his mind. But I am so right there with him. He says, it might seem a dangerous thing to say that history bleeds and that it is an effect of political arrangements instead of pure ideal awaiting discovery and the elucidation of historians. That Yeah, y'all don't need me to explain that, right? That history bleeds. Y'all, you remember in the story of Cain and Abel, when God asked, you know, like, where's your brother? Where am I, my brother's keeper? And his blood, his that is calling out to me. We know that blood in itself, it does not go quietly. It does not just disappear. So history bleeds. Yeah, just I mean, full stop. History bleeds. That is so good, right? And that it is an effect of political arrangements instead of a pure idea, awaiting discovery and the illumination, the aha moment of a historian. Whew. It might seem reckless to say that facts are not as straightforward or as innocent as we often presume. Um, uh, I don't exactly, I wasn't prepared to say this woman's name. Saidiya Hartman herself seems to acknowledge that when she writes that facts are the state's preferred fiction, fiction endorsed by state power. Now, how freaking good is that? Ha ha ha. Isn't that funny? She writes that the state's preferred fiction endorsed by state power. Somebody else has the power to create the narrative, right? The narrative was, let me give you for an example. The narrative is that Vietnam bad, right? That what they were trying to do bad. That we needed to have them be a democratic republic or whatever it was. But this takes me back to Star Trek. This prime directive is to allow people their own ability to be as they what's the word, for autonomy, to figure out their own direction, where they choose to be. And you guys, a lot of times we don't give, it's not even given, we don't allow people to discover for themselves what their truth is. And so what they do is, as the state, they create the fictional narrative that they give to you. It's an interesting thing to me how often we see the news and then they'll tell us what these talking heads behind them are saying. They interpret and then they give the meaning that they want people to have. They change it so that it fits the narrative that they desire to have. This fiction endorsed by state power. And so sometimes if we're paying attention, we see the wool that's been pulled over our eyes to blind us to the truth. That this stuff, the fights that are created, the things that they say that this is about, is not at all what it's about. As a matter of fact, Dr. Brown talked last week about how many billions of dollars have been promised to the war that is going on in Ukraine, against the Ukraine. How many billions of dollars, and who stands to gain from that? Why intervene? Because there is something more than what we are being told. I love this, right? And so he says the danger is especially pronounced in a time when countercultural fortifications on the political left, at least in the United States, are being engineered to counteract the corrosive effects of alternative facts. I'm going to stop right there because, y'all, that is just, I don't know about y'all, but woo! It's, and as a matter of fact, one of the things that he said in this article is that people are gathering to have conversation around what he has written. And I just love this idea of, like, let's throw this out here and let's all chew on this awareness. Let's bring our experience to the fold so we can talk about how this speaks to the experience that we've had, whatever your experience may be. You may have been in, a military operation and been on the ground and saw that, the things that you've been told aren't necessarily true, which brings a different feel to what I'm reading here than even I might have. While I might say, oh, I see this going on all the time, I don't have the firsthand experience that somebody else has. But on another level, I might see it at play in some other areas in my life. You guys, we are all invited to the table to talk about the things that we see and to fashion for ourselves what is called a new republic. When we think about the Hamiltons of the world, right? Somebody having the audacity to come in and to engage in a system that says, you know what, I don't have to be molded by it, but rather let me see what it is that I need to speak to so that my voice is at the table, my voice is in the room. You guys, I am often saying to you that when the God said, let there be, your name was in the chorus there. So how dare you render yourself silent in this moment? We are all called to call forth something new. And you are given the experiences that you have been given so that you can allow your voice to be heard in that, in whatever way that means. Sometimes it is, I might just talk to the people around me, or I might write an article here, or get involved in a discussion there. I might just, whatever that may mean, just put it out there so that it does not die within me. But your silence is betrayal. That's what Martin Luther King says. He says there becomes a time when silence is betrayal. Oh, y'all, even the blood speaks. History speaks. A bone speaks. All of this breathing up. The worms speak. The soil speaks. And who are we to ignore it? Who are we to ignore it? Oh my gosh, y'all. I don't know about y'all. But to be on this planet at such a time as this, and to figure out how to just, insert your piece. It doesn't have to, it doesn't mean that I'm sitting here waiting for just because I come across something that is amazing to me. It doesn't mean that, the lights come on and everybody is like saying, Sandra solved the puzzle, let's go home. No. This is an ongoing, steady process, and we have to be in it for the long haul. We gotta insert ourselves into it, knowing that we are here not by accident, but on purpose. And then we must insert ourselves into the narrative. And no matter what, right? If we are just planting a seed, if it just comes up a little bit, whatever. Not to judge it, but just to do what you do. Like I said, a worm ain't looking at you thinking like, why are you giving me more stuff to transform? It's just doing what it is supposed to do. Transforming it. You do what you are to do. If it's transformation, transform it, right? Whatever that may mean. And if it is this getting people prepared for the aesthetics of it, the creolization of it, the beauty of it, to let people know that all people are not like this, the vanilla, the eggshell and vanilla colors that we see here. The world is not like that. The world is full of color and vibrancy and desire. Oh my God. And if we could just figure out to some extent how to help get the foot off the necks of those who are really in touch with this. If we could just, because you know what, one of the things that we do so well is that when people don't have the basics in life, when you talk about that Maslow's hierarchy, when you don't have the basics, food, clothing, shelter, you have a real hard time looking for the color or creating the color. And so a lot of times what people do is they put their foot on the necks of so many others, of so many people, so that they are, they have to be concerned with the basics and not with the overflow. You guys, it's time for us to figure out how to get the foot off of the necks of those who truly know what it means to be a part of this amazing planet. Y'all, thank you for this. I am so grateful to Bayo Akafumalafe. I think I got them all. I don't know, but I'm so thankful to him for this article, and I am going to continue to look, you know how people sometimes when you get a good steak or something, you sit there and continue to suck on the bone long after it's over with. I'm going to suck on this bone after it's over with and just continue to let it speak to me. Because y'all, we got work to do. We got to set our own selves free, right? First, set yourself free. Free your mind and your ass shall follow, right? Set your own self free first. And then we can see how to set other people free. Oh, as a matter of fact, that's a scripture saying get the log out of your own eye so you can see how to get a splinter out of your brother's. We got work to do. We got work to do. We got work, baby. So much work, baby. I know we got work to do. All right, y'all. I have been on here. If you didn't watch the other video, if you came in on this one and didn't get to see the other one, I talk about. I'm always talking, but I talk about for me what I thought was this idea of all the colors of the universe. And whatever else. Thank you for being here. I love and adore you. And if you got a comment or something to say, please by all means put it down in the comments. If whatever that may mean, because all of us have a spot in this. If it blessed you, share it, right? All of us have a spot in this. Every one of us has work to do in this. This is not you, wherever you are in your life. This is not all that there is to it. Oh my gosh, let's just keep moving forward and see what is the next frontier. I love y'all. I love you. And it's just my desire that, yes, you get to a place where you're just saying yes to that too. It's so good. So good. So good. All right, y'all. Be blessed. I'll be here back at 11 today because I get to talk to Dr. Brown. Yay. 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 I'll be on the other on my other computer so that so that my mouth and my words are in sync.